Think smart, speak English, your guide to clear ideas. Introduction. Words are everywhere. We use them to talk to friends, read news, and understand important papers. Words help us share ideas. Good ideas can make us feel inspired, teach us new things, and even change the world. How we share our ideas and how good those ideas are really matters. English is a very important language today. Many people from different countries use it to talk to each other, share what they know, and work together. If you know English, you can find lots of information. You can learn about new discoveries, world news, different cultures, and what people all over the world are thinking. It's like opening a door to many new things. But with so much information, it can be hard to know what to believe. We see and hear so many things every day. How can we understand it all? How do we know what is true, what is important, and what is just extra noise? Sometimes, just reading or hearing English words is not enough. The real meaning might be hidden, the message might be missing parts, or the way it's said might make us think a certain way without us knowing. We need to look deeper than just the words. This book is about a main idea. Thinking carefully in English means looking closely at what you read and hear. You learn to spot when something is not fair or only shows one side. Then, you can make up your own smart and well-thought-out ideas. What does this mean for you? It means you don't just believe everything you read or hear. You look closely. You ask questions like, who is saying this? Why are they saying it? And what proof do they have? You also learn to see when a message might be unfair. Does it only show one part of the story? Does it try to make you feel a certain way without giving you all the facts? We will learn how people can try to change our minds with the way they share information. The best part? Instead of just repeating what others say, you can make your own informed opinions. You will feel sure enough to say, this is what I understand, and this is why I believe it, because you have thought about it carefully. When we do this in English, we are not just thinking carefully, we are doing it in a language that lets us see many different ideas and information. It helps you become a better thinker and speaker in a language used by people all over the world. This skill will help you make better choices in school, work, and your life. You will feel more confident talking about things, sharing your own ideas, and understanding hard topics. In a time with fake news and many people trying to convince you, thinking carefully is like a shield and a guide. In the next pages, we will go on a journey together. We will learn easy ways to do this, see real examples, and practice skills that will change how you read, listen, and think in English. This is not just about learning English. It's about learning to think smarter, speak clearly, and share your own good ideas with the world. Are you ready to think carefully and speak with confidence? Let's start. 1. Think well in English. Learning a new language like English can feel like opening a door to a whole new world. Suddenly, you can understand songs you love, watch movies without subtitles, and even talk to people from different countries. But the magic of English goes even deeper. It's not just about speaking new words. It's about learning to think in new ways. This is what we mean by thinking well in English. Think about it. When you learn new words and how to put them together, you're not just memorizing. You're building tools. These tools help you understand what people are saying, what they are writing, and what they really mean. And when you can understand more, you can start to think more deeply about it all. Thinking is a skill, not just a talent. Many people believe that some individuals are naturally good thinkers, while others are not. They might say, oh, she's so smart, she just gets it, or he's not really a deep thinker. But this isn't quite right. Thinking well, just like speaking English, is a skill. It's something you can practice, something you can get better at with time and effort. Imagine you're learning to ride a bicycle. At first, it feels wobbly and difficult. You might fall a few times. But with each try, you learn to balance better, to steer more smoothly. You build muscle memory and confidence. Thinking well is very similar. When you first start to question information or look for different sides of a story, it might feel a bit strange or even confusing. You might not always get it right away, but the more you practice asking questions, the more you look for evidence, and the more you consider different viewpoints, the stronger your thinking muscles become. In English, we learn grammar rules and new vocabulary. We practice speaking and listening. All of these are building blocks. But the real power comes when we use these building blocks to understand ideas, to explore complex topics, and to form our own smart opinions. This is the heart of thinking well in English. It's about using the language to unlock a deeper level of understanding and personal thought. English as a tool for deeper thinking. English is spoken all over the world. This means that when you learn English, you gain access to an incredible amount of information. Think about the internet. So much of it is in English. News from many countries, scientific discoveries, books from authors all over the globe, and discussions on every topic imaginable are available to you. This isn't just about reading more, it's about seeing the world from many different angles. One country might report a news event in one way, while another country might report it differently. An article written in English might explore an idea that you've never encountered before. By engaging with these diverse sources, you start to see that there isn't always just one single truth. There are often many perspectives, many interpretations. Learning to think critically in English means you can dive into this ocean of information and not get lost. You can pick out the most important parts, understand different viewpoints, and see how ideas connect. The language itself becomes your guide, helping you navigate through complex thoughts and arguments. It allows you to go beyond just understanding the words to truly grasping the meaning and the implications. The why behind information. One of the most important habits of a good thinker is asking why. When you see or hear something, especially something presented as fact, it's natural to accept it. But a critical thinker pauses and asks, why is this information being shared with me? Is it to inform me, to persuade me, to entertain me, or perhaps something else? Who is sharing this information? Do they have a reason to want me to believe this particular thing? Do they have a special interest? Why is it being presented in this specific way? Are certain words chosen to make me feel a certain way? Is the story told from a particular point of view? What might be missing? Is there another side to this story that isn't being told? Let's imagine you see an advertisement for a new type of energy drink. The ad shows young, energetic people having fun, saying the drink gives them unbeatable power. A passive observer might think, wow, that drink sounds amazing. I need to try it to get that energy. But someone who is learning to think well in English might pause and ask, why is this ad showing only happy, energetic people? Who made this ad? The company that sells the drink, right? So, they want me to buy it. Why are they using words like unbeatable power? Is it really that powerful, or are they just trying to make it sound exciting? What is missing? Does the ad mention any side effects? Does it talk about the sugar content? Does it show anyone who didn't get energy from it? By asking these why questions, you start to see that the advertisement is designed to sell a product. It's not necessarily giving you the whole, unbiased picture. This simple act of questioning helps you move from simply receiving information to actively analyzing it. Moving beyond surface level. When we first learn English, we focus a lot on the surface. We learn what words mean, how to form sentences correctly, and how to pronounce things. This is essential. But thinking well means we need to go deeper. We need to look beneath the words to understand the ideas, the feelings, and the intentions behind them. Think about a simple statement like, "The weather is nice today." On the surface, it's just a statement about the weather. But depending on how it's said, and who says it, it can mean many things. If said with a bright smile on a sunny day, it's a genuine observation. If said with a sigh on a rainy day, it might be sarcastic, meaning the weather is actually bad. If said by someone who dislikes going outside, it might be a polite way of saying they wish they could stay indoors. Understanding these deeper meanings requires paying attention to more than just the dictionary definition of words. It involves noticing the tone of voice, the context of the situation, and even the relationship between the people talking. In English, this ability to understand what's not explicitly said is incredibly powerful. It's about reading between the lines. When you can do this, you can understand humor better, you can spot sarcasm, and you can grasp more complex arguments. You are no longer just a listener or a reader. You become an active participant in understanding. This is where the critical thinking in English definition comes into play. Critical thinking in English is the skill of looking at information very carefully. It means reading articles and understanding them deeply. It also means finding out if the information is fair or if it only shows one side of a story. This is called bias. Going beyond the surface is a key part of looking at information very carefully and understanding it deeply. Building your own understanding. The ultimate goal of thinking well in English is to build your own, independent understanding of the world. It's about forming your own smart ideas and opinions, not just repeating what you've heard or read. Imagine you're learning about a historical event. You might read one book that tells the story from the perspective of the winners. It might sound very convincing. But if you then read another book, or an article, that tells the story from the perspective of the people who lost, you'll start to see the event in a completely different light. You might discover that the winners weren't entirely right, or that the losers had valid reasons for their actions. When you can access and understand these different perspectives in English, you can start to piece together a more complete picture. You can weigh the evidence, consider the different arguments, and then decide what you believe. This is not about being stubborn or refusing to listen to others. It's about being thoughtful and making informed choices about what you accept as true. This process of building your own understanding is what the book's big idea is all about. Learning to think critically in English involves carefully examining information, spotting unfairness or one-sided views, and then forming your own smart and well-thought-out opinions. Analytical question 1. The first question to ask when you encounter new information in English. What is the first question you should ask yourself, and why is it important? The very first question you should ask yourself is, what is the purpose of this information? Why is this so important? Because understanding the purpose helps you understand the potential biases and the way the information might be presented. If the purpose is to inform, you expect facts and objective reporting. But even then, you should wonder why these particular facts were chosen and others left out. If the purpose is to persuade, like in an advertisement or a political speech, you know the information is designed to convince you of something. This means it might highlight only the good points and ignore the bad, or use emotional language to sway your feelings. If the purpose is to entertain, the focus might be on making the story exciting or funny, rather than strictly accurate. By asking about the purpose right away, you set yourself up to be a more critical listener or reader. You're not just passively absorbing words, you're actively trying to understand the intentions behind them. This helps you to be less likely to be fooled or misled. It's like being a detective who first tries to figure out why a crime might have happened before looking for clues. Analytical question 2. Language nuances and deeper thinking. How does the ability to understand nuances in English like tone, word choice, or implied meanings help you to think well about what you are reading or hearing? Understanding nuances in English is like having a secret key that unlocks deeper levels of meaning. It's what separates simply understanding the words from truly grasping the message. Tone. The tone of voice or writing can completely change the meaning of words. Consider the phrase "that's just great." If said with enthusiasm, it means something is genuinely wonderful. If said with a flat, sarcastic tone, it means the opposite, that the situation is actually terrible. Learning to recognize these different tones in English allows you to understand the speaker's true feelings and intentions, which is crucial for critical thinking. Word choice. Authors and speakers choose their words very carefully. A politician might use the word freedom to evoke positive feelings, while an opponent might use the word unrestrained to suggest danger. Home feels warmer and more personal than residence. Assertive sounds more positive than aggressive. When you notice these specific word choices in English, you can start to ask why that particular word was used. What effect was the writer or speaker trying to create? This is a direct path to spotting bias and understanding the underlying message. Implied meanings. Sometimes, what is not said is as important as what is said. English often relies on implied meanings, especially in polite conversation or when discussing sensitive topics. If someone says it's getting late, they might be implying, "I need to leave now," or "we should wrap this up." If a news report says, "the company announced job cuts," it implies that people will lose their jobs even if the words "lose their jobs" aren't used. Understanding these implied meanings helps you to get the full picture, to understand the subtext, and to avoid making assumptions based only on the literal words. When you can detect these subtleties in English, you are much better equipped to think critically. You can see how language is used to shape opinions, to create certain impressions, and sometimes to hide the full truth. You can then use this understanding to form your own well-reasoned opinions based on a more complete grasp of the information presented. 2. Look closely at information. Sometimes, when we read or hear things, it feels like someone is just giving us facts. Like a simple recipe: put in 2 cups of flour, add eggs, cook for 30 minutes. Easy, right? But in life, information is not usually this simple. It's more like a detailed picture. You can look at it and see a nice image, but if you look closer, you start to see small details, the artist's choices, and maybe even a hidden meaning. This is where we start our journey of thinking smart and speaking English. It begins with a simple but strong idea: look closely at what you learn. This means we don't just accept things as they are shown to us. We ask questions. We become like detectives for ideas. Think about the last time you saw an ad. Maybe it was for a new juice that said it would make you feel very energetic all day. Or maybe a post on social media showed a product that claimed to remove wrinkles in just 1 week. These messages are made to get your attention and make you want something. They are not just sharing facts, they are trying to convince you. This is the first big thing to know. Information is not always fair. What you read, hear, or see is often shown with a special goal. Someone wants you to believe something, do something, or buy something. Their goal might be to tell you things, yes, but it could also be to make you agree, to make you laugh, or to sell you something. When we understand this, we can start to look at everything we see with a healthy curiosity, not just believe it without thinking. We become like careful gardeners, looking at each seed before planting it to make sure it's a good one. Let's imagine a friend, Maya, who likes to share interesting articles she finds online. One day, she excitedly sends me a link. The title says, amazing new diet cures all sicknesses. My first thought might be, wow, that sounds amazing. But then, remembering our goal to look closely, I stop. I ask myself, who wrote this? This brings us to the second important idea, the power of who is speaking. Knowing who is giving you the information is very important. Is it a doctor? A scientist? A company selling a diet plan? Or just someone with a website who wants lots of people to visit? If the article was written by a well-known doctor who has studied health for many years, I might trust it more. If it was written by a company that sells the diet plan, I would be more careful. Because the company has a reason to make their diet sound as good as possible, even if it's not completely true. They want to earn money. This is what we call a possible bias. A bias is like a tilt or a leaning towards one side. The company's bias is towards selling their product. Think about this. If a company that makes umbrellas tells you, it's going to rain all week, you might listen. But you would also know they want you to buy their umbrellas. So you might check the weather report from a neutral source, like the official weather service, to get a more complete idea. So, when you see or read something, ask yourself, who is telling me this? What do they want me to think or do? Do they have a reason to want me to believe this specific thing? This is the start of thinking carefully in English. It's the skill of looking at information very closely. It means reading articles and understanding them well. It also means finding out if the information is fair or if it only shows one side of a story. This is called bias. When you can do this, you can then create your own good ideas and thoughts that are based on good thinking. This skill helps you understand the world better and make smart choices. Now, let's look more closely at the message itself. This is about seeing the what and the why. How can the specific words or pictures used in a message gently change how you understand things, even if the facts seem clear? Let's go back to that diet article. If it says, this new diet will change your life forever, what does change your life forever really mean? It sounds exciting, but it's a word that isn't very clear. It's meant to make you feel like this diet is something totally new and wonderful. The phrase change your life forever is also very strong. It's made to create a big feeling inside you. The article might also use pictures. Imagine a picture of a very thin, happy person smiling while eating a salad. This picture makes you connect the diet with happiness and being thin. But what about people who tried it and didn't get good results? What about the possible bad things? These might be left out. The language used can be very smart. Words like amazing, incredible, miracle, or guaranteed are often used to make something sound better than it might be. On the other hand, if someone wants to make a different idea sound bad, they might use words like dangerous, not proven, or risky. So, when you read, listen, or watch, try to notice the strong words. Are there words that make you feel a strong emotion, either happy or scared? The unclear words. Are there words that sound good, but don't really tell you much specific information? The pictures. What do the pictures make you feel or think? Do they show the whole story? This is all part of looking closely. We are not just reading the words. We are understanding how the words and pictures work together to create a certain feeling or idea in our minds. Finally, and this is a really important part of looking closely, we need to think about seeing what is not there. Sometimes, what isn't said is just as important as what is said. Information can be shown in a way that leaves out important details, other ways of looking at things, or proof. That goes against the main message. This can lead to a very unbalanced understanding of the truth. Let's think about our friend Mia again. She might share an article that only talks about the good things about a new type of energy drink. It might say, boost your energy right away, and tastes great. But what if the article doesn't mention how much sugar is in it? Or the possible bad effects like feeling shaky or having trouble sleeping? If you only read that one article, you might think the drink is a perfect answer for feeling tired. You wouldn't know about the other side of the story. To see what is missing, you can ask yourself, is there another way to look at this? Are there other facts I should know? Who might disagree with this information and why? For example, if you read a news report about a new law and it only talks about how it will help one group of people, you might wonder, how does this law affect other people? Are there any groups who might not like it? Asking these questions helps you see the whole picture, not just a small part of it. So, to sum up, when we decide to look closely at information, we are doing a few key things. 1. We remember that information often has a purpose and isn't always fair. 2. We pay attention to who is giving the information and why they might be biased. 3. We look at the specific words and pictures used to see how they might affect us. 4. We actively try to find out what information might be missing. By doing these things, we are building the base for thinking carefully in English. We are learning to be active readers and listeners, not just people who passively receive messages. We are gaining the confidence to question, to examine, and to understand the world around us more clearly. When you see a piece of information, what are the first 3 questions you should ask yourself about who is giving it and why? First, you should ask, who is telling me this? This means looking for the writer, the group, or the speaker. Are they experts? Are they known for being honest? Do they have a reason to be biased? For example, a company that sells a product is likely biased towards making that product sound good. A scientist who has spent years studying a topic might be a more neutral source. Second, you should ask, what do they want me to believe or do? What is the main message they are trying to share? Are they trying to sell something? Convince you to vote a certain way? Or simply tell you things? Understanding their goal helps you see their message from a different viewpoint. If an ad is trying to sell you a car, it will focus on all the good things about the car and might not mention the high price or how much gas it uses. Third, you should ask, why are they telling me this now and in this way? Is there a specific time or event that makes this information important? And why did they choose these particular words or pictures? For example, if a politician is giving a speech before an election, their words are likely chosen very carefully to get votes. They might use words that create strong feelings or focus on specific issues that they know voters care about. These 3 questions, who, what, and why, are like a key that unlocks a deeper understanding of any message. They help you go beyond simply hearing or reading the words to truly examining them. Once we have learned to look closely at the information itself, the next very important step is to understand how that information might be showing a particular viewpoint, often without us even knowing it. This leads us to the important skill of finding unfairness or one-sided views. 3. Have your own good ideas. Your thoughts are important. This is a simple but very true idea. Think about it. You are a special person. You have your own life story. You see the world in your own way. Because of this, your ideas are also special and different. When you learn to think carefully in English, you do more than just understand what others say. You learn to listen to your own inner voice. You learn to believe what you discover. You learn to make your own smart ideas. Sometimes, when we read something or hear someone speak, it is easy to just agree. We might think, that sounds smart, or everyone agrees with this. But thinking carefully in English means looking closer. It means looking at the information with great care. It means asking yourself, do I agree with this? Why or why not? It means not just believing something because many people believe it or because someone you like said it. It means building your own understanding. Imagine you see a beautiful picture. Some people might say it is the best picture ever. That is their feeling. But you might look closer and see something else. Maybe the colors make you feel something. Maybe a shape reminds you of something from when you were a child. Your own feelings and memories change how you see the picture. Your feeling about the picture is as good as anyone else's because it comes from you. The same is true for ideas. Making your own good ideas often comes from putting things together. You read a story about nature. Then you hear the news about a new building. Later, you remember talking with a friend about saving trees. Thinking carefully in English helps you see how these different pieces of information connect. You start to see a pattern. You might think, wait a minute, all these things seem connected. This new building might hurt nature, and maybe that's why my friend is worried about saving trees. Suddenly, you are not just hearing facts. You are building a bigger picture in your mind. Your own idea about what is happening begins to form. The power of asking why is like a key that opens your own thoughts. When you read something, do not just accept it. Ask yourself, why is this person saying this? Why are they using these exact words? Why is this information shown in this order? These questions are not meant to be hard. They are meant to make you think more deeply. Let's say you read something that says all cats are mean. Your first thought might be, that does not seem right. This is your careful thinking starting to work. Now ask why. Why would someone write that all cats are mean? Maybe they had a bad time with one cat. Maybe they want you to buy a certain toy for cats. The story only shows one side. It does not talk about all the nice, loving cats. By asking why, you start to see that the information might be only one part of the story. This helps you make your own idea. Not all cats are mean. Many cats are sweet pets. Making your own reason is the next step. It means taking that idea you have made and explaining it simply. It is like saying, this is what I think, and this is why I think it. You do not need long, difficult sentences. You just need to be clear. For example, if you believe that not all cats are mean, you can say, I do not think all cats are mean. My neighbor's cat, Mittens, is very kind and likes to be petted. She never scratches people. You have said your idea not all cats are mean and given a reason Mittens is kind. That is a simple but good reason. It is also very important to remember that it is okay to be different. Your ideas do not have to be the same as everyone else's. In fact, having different ideas is a good thing. It makes talking more interesting. It helps us learn new things. Imagine if everyone in a group talking had the exact same idea. There would not be much to say, would there? When you have an idea that is different, it is a chance for you to explain your thinking. It is a chance for others to learn from how you see things. Let me tell you about Ben. Ben loved reading about animals. He found a website that said that birds were much smarter than fish. The website had many facts and talked about studies. Ben read it all. At first, he thought, wow, birds are really smart. But then he remembered his own pet fish, Bubbles. Bubbles just swam around. Then he thought about his aunt's parrot, Polly. Polly could say words, copy sounds, and seemed to know when his aunt was happy. Ben started asking himself questions. Why did the website say birds were smarter? Were the studies fair? Did they only look at certain kinds of birds? He remembered seeing a video online of a fish finding its way through a maze. He also remembered how his friend's goldfish would swim to the front of the tank when food was coming. It was not that one was clearly smarter. It was more complex. Ben realized that the website was showing only one side. It was not showing everything. It made birds look better than fish. Ben's own thinking started to form. He thought, maybe it's not about which animal is smarter overall. Maybe it's about what each animal is good at. Birds are good at flying and learning. Fish are good at swimming and finding food. They are different, but both are smart in their own ways. This was Ben's own good idea. It was not what the website said. It was not what all his friends said. It was his own thought, made from what he had read, what he had seen, and his own experiences. He felt a little shy to say it at first. What if everyone disagreed? But he remembered that his idea was based on careful looking. When he talked to his friends, he did not just say, "Birds are not smarter than fish." Instead, he said, "I was reading that birds are smarter than fish, but I'm not sure I agree completely. I think both birds and fish are smart, but in different ways. My fish Bubbles is good at swimming in circles, but Polly, my aunt's parrot, is amazing at learning new sounds. Maybe it's not about who is smarter, but how they show their smartness." By saying it this way, Ben was building his own reason. He stated his idea and then gave his reasons, using examples from his own life. He was not trying to win an argument. He was sharing his own thinking. And guess what? His friends thought about it. One friend said, "You know, you're right. My pet snail is clever too, but in a totally different way." Another friend said, "I never thought of it like that." Ben learned that having his own good ideas was not scary. It felt strong. It meant he was thinking for himself. He was using his English to share his special view. This is the main part of thinking carefully in English, not just understanding, but making your own valuable thoughts. So, when you see new information, remember Ben. Ask yourself, what do I think about this? Why do I think this? What are my reasons? Connect the pieces of information you have. Do not be afraid to ask why. Build your own simple reasons to explain your ideas. And most importantly, believe that your own special view is valuable. Your thoughts matter, and learning to share them is a strong skill. Once you start to believe your own thoughts and make your own good ideas, the next important step is learning how to share them clearly and in a way that others will listen. This is where your English speaking skills are truly helpful, letting your special ideas be heard and understood. 4. Analyze articles and find biases. Sometimes, when we read, it feels like we are just learning facts. We read the words and think, "Okay, this is what happened." But what if the story you read is not always the whole truth? What if the way a story is told can change how you feel about it? This is why it is important to learn how to look closely at articles and find if they favor one side. This helps you think clearly and speak English well. Think of it this way. You have two friends, Alex and Ben. Alex loves dogs. Ben is scared of dogs. They both see a dog in the park. Alex might say, "Look at that happy dog wanting to play." Ben might see the same dog and think, "Oh no, that dog looks scary." Are they seeing different dogs? They see the same dog, but their feelings change how they describe it. Articles can be like this. The writer might have their own feelings or ideas. This can make them focus on some things and ignore others, or use words that make you feel a certain way. This is called bias. What is bias? It means leaning towards one side. It's like a scale that is not balanced. An article with bias shows information in a way that favors one idea or group. It does not mean the writer is bad. Sometimes, bias happens without us knowing. Our own experiences or what we believe can change how we share information. Imagine a town is planning a new park. Some people are happy because they want more green space. Others are worried because they think the park will bring noise and traffic. If an article only talks to the people who are happy and uses words like wonderful park, it shows bias. It favors the side that wants the park. If it only talks to the people who are worried and uses words like noisy construction, that is bias too, but in the other direction. How can we find these clues of bias in articles? We need to look closely at a few things. One big clue is word choice. Writers choose words carefully. Some words make things sound good, and others make them sound bad. This is sometimes called loaded language. For example, if an article calls people protesting citizens demanding change, it sounds good. But if it calls them angry people causing trouble, it sounds bad. The same people, but very different words. Words like passionate, demanding, angry, and trouble carry strong feelings. A neutral way to say it might be, a group of people gathered to share their views on the new rule. Think about ads. They want you to buy something. They use words that make products sound great. If an ad says a new phone is revolutionary and will change your life, it wants you to feel excited and want the phone. That is bias in ads, trying to convince you. Another way to find bias is to see what is included and what is left out. A fair article shows all important parts of a story. But sometimes, an article only shows information that supports one idea. It's like someone telling you only the good things about a movie they liked and forgetting the bad parts. Let's go back to the park. If an article only talks to families who want the park and says how beautiful it will be, but does not mention worries about parking or noise for people living nearby, it is leaving out important information. This can create a biased picture. The writer is not lying, but they are not giving you the whole story. They are choosing to show only one part. So, when you read, ask yourself, is this article telling me everything or just one part? If it feels like you are only hearing one side, that is a big sign of bias. The source of information is also important. Who is the article quoting? Are they experts? Or are they people who will gain or lose something? Imagine an article about a new medicine. If it only quotes the scientists who made it and say it is safe, that is one thing. But if it also quotes doctors and patients and other researchers, you get a more balanced view. However, if the article only quotes the company that makes the medicine and no one else, you might wonder if they are being honest because they want to sell more. Their bias might be towards making money. It is also good to think about the feeling or tone of an article. Does the writer try to make you feel angry, scared, or happy? Sometimes, articles use emotional words to get you on their side, instead of just giving facts. For example, an article about a new law might use very strong words to say how bad or good the law is. This emotional language can change your opinion without giving you all the facts. So, let's think about this question. What is the main message the author wants to share? And how do their words and the information they use or don't use help them do this? To answer this, you first need to know what the article is really trying to say. Is it trying to convince you that something is the best? Is it trying to make you dislike someone? Is it trying to get you excited about something new? Once you know the main message, look at the words. Did they use words that made things sound good or bad? They focus on some facts and ignore others? For example, if an article is about a new restaurant and the main message is that it is a great place to eat, look at the words. Does it say the food is delicious or mouth-watering? Does it talk about a warm and inviting place? These are good words that help show the restaurant is great. If the article does not mention the price or the service or only quotes people who loved it, it is leaving out information. The author uses good words and selective information to show the restaurant is fantastic. Now, let's think about this question. If I read another article on the same topic from a different source, what information or view might be missing from this article that I should know about? This question means thinking beyond the article you were reading. It means knowing that there are often many ways to see the same thing. If you read an article that is very positive about a new technology, ask yourself, what could be bad about this technology that this article is not talking about? Maybe it does not mention the effect on the environment, or the cost, or that it might take away jobs. Imagine you read an article that strongly supports a new government rule. It talks about all the good things the rule will do. To answer our second question, you would think, okay, this article really likes this rule. What are the arguments against this rule? Who might be hurt by it? What problems might the writers not want me to think about? This is where critical thinking in English is very useful. It is not just understanding the words. It is understanding why the words are used and the situation of the information. Critical thinking in English means looking at information very carefully. It means reading articles and understanding them well. It also means finding out if the information is fair or if it only shows one side of a story. This is called bias. When you can do this, you can create your own good ideas and opinions based on good thinking. This skill helps you understand the world better and make smart choices. When you look for bias, you are practicing critical thinking. You are not just accepting what you read. You are asking questions. You are asking, why is this written this way? And what else should I know? Let's use another example. Suppose you see an article online with a headline like, "Amazing new diet helps you lose weight fast." This headline itself is a clue. The words amazing and fast weight loss are meant to get your attention and make you feel hopeful. When you read the article, it might talk about how great the diet is and it might quote a few people who say they lost a lot of weight. But does it mention any scientific studies? Does it talk about possible health problems? Does it explain how the diet works in a way that makes sense? If the article does not give scientific proof or mention any risks, that is a sign of bias. The main message is likely to sell you the diet, maybe through a book or a program. The author uses exciting words and chosen stories to do this. If you read an article from a health group about weight loss, it might talk about eating healthy, exercising, and making slow, healthy changes, and it might warn against diets that promise quick results without proof. That is the missing view. The first article favors promoting a quick fix, while a more careful article favors scientific proof and long-term health. Noticing bias is not about being suspicious of everything. It is about being a more informed and thoughtful reader. It is about knowing that most information comes from a certain point of view. When you can see that point of view, you can then decide how much you believe the information. You can then form your own opinions, not just repeat someone else's. This skill is very useful. It helps you make better choices in your life, from picking products to buy to understanding important news. It also makes your own English clearer and more convincing when you speak or write, because you know how to present ideas fairly and support them with good proof. So the next time you read an article, a blog post, or even something on social media, remember to be like a detective. Look for the strong words. See what is included and what is left out. Think about who is speaking and what they might want. And always ask yourself, what else might be true about this? By doing this, you are not just reading, you are thinking critically. You are learning to understand the world with clarity and confidence. Once you learn to spot the ways articles can favor one side, the next step is to use this understanding to build your own strong arguments. This leads us to learn how to gather proof and create your own well-thought-out opinions, making sure they are not just smart, but also fair and well-supported. Conclusion: you have come to the end of this book, but for you, this is really just the start. We wanted to show you that learning English is more than just knowing words and rules. It's about finding a strong way to understand the world. It helps you ask questions and form your own clear ideas. By reading this book, you have made yourself better. You can now understand things more deeply and share your thoughts with more confidence. The main thing we learned is thinking smart with English. This is not a hard idea from a school book. It is a useful skill for every day. It helps you deal with all the information you see and hear. You have learned to be like a detective with words. You look closely to see what is really being said. Think of it like looking at a puzzle. You don't just see the picture. You look at each piece and how it fits to make the whole picture. This careful looking is the first step. Then, you learn to see when a story is not telling the whole truth, or when someone is trying too hard to make you believe their idea. This makes you a protector of fairness. Imagine a balanced scale. Thinking smart helps you see if one side is too heavy. It helps you see if things are not fair. Knowing when something is unfair or one-sided is important to understand what is really happening. And last, you have gained the power to make your own good ideas. You are not just a listener anymore. You can create your own understanding. It is like being a cook. You get good food information. You prepare it well. Then you make your own special meal your idea. And the best part is, you do this in English. English becomes your tool to think more deeply, ask better questions, and share your own ideas in a way others will understand. Remember, the skills you learned are not for putting away. They are alive. They get stronger when you use them. When you read the news, ask yourself, who wrote this? What do they want me to think? In talks with others, listen not just to the words, but how they are said. Are they assuming things? When you need to make a choice, get information from many places, not just one. When you share your ideas, take a moment to make sure they are clear and make sense. By thinking smart in English, you can share your own unique thoughts. You can help in important talks. You can make good choices that change your life and the world. This book gave you a good start. Now, go and build on it. Stay curious. Keep asking questions. Always try to think smart and speak English better. You have the tools. You know how. Now, go and think smart, speak clearly, and make your mark on the world. We are excited to see the smart ideas you will have and the clear English you will use to share them. Well done!